Hello everyone and welcome back to Jimmy Talks Jira. We're going to complete a series of videos this week and we're going to do a how-to guide on the ACP-100 120, which is the Atlassian Administrator certification for data center or cloud. I have personally only written the cloud version, so a lot of what I will be sharing will be geared more towards that. But a number of the aspects that you'll be using for that are common to both of them. Without further ado, let's dive in. Okay, so we're going to want to get started by going to university.atlassian.com, as we do with all of our certification topics. And we're going to click on the topics menu at the top. We're going to go to badges and certifications, and then we're going to go to certifications, which will take us to this page here. And then you're going to want to select whichever one makes sense based on whether you're going to do the data center or the cloud certification with either the ACP-100 or the 120. Now, if I go over here, because I've already loaded up that page for the ACP-100, the one thing I did want to bring your attention to is the Jira Administrator learning path. This is something that Atlassian has added into their university site as of going to this new layout. And this learning path is different than some of the other things we've done, that for a Jira Administrator, this will really tell you how to get started. So this is going to show you the foundational courses. Not all of this is going to be free, but this is going to give you a how you should learn your skills. So as it points out here, within the first 6 months to a year of administrating, you should be taking the Administrator Part 1 and Part 2 courses, as well as the Getting More Out of Jira Workflows. And I can tell you that I have done all of 3 of those courses before I took the exam. And I would agree that if you are a new admin, these are definitely going to be beneficial, not only for helping you prepare, but for giving you that best practice understanding that will actually help you be a better administrator for your users. Next, they have this optional ongoing learning, and a lot of these are skill builder courses, which means they're free. I am always a proponent of take the free courses. You can never not learn something from these types of things, so I absolutely recommend going through all of these. Even if you choose not to do the paid courses, go through all the skill builders. They will give you information that I can't say for sure, but is going to be covered on the exams in one way or another. So going through these may save you with that one question that you're like, hey, I remember that from the skill builder. I know how to answer that. Then they're going to talk about the certifications and the fact that there is a certification prep course in addition to taking your exam. I would say that the certification prep courses are a good refresher, but they are not a substitute for the foundational courses. So if you're coming into this thinking that you're just going to take the prep course and that's going to give you all the information you need and then you can write your exam, you're going to be wrong. The prep course does a good job of helping you summarize all the things that you should have learned from all of these courses above, but they definitely aren't going to be a replacement for all of those. So now that we talked about the learning path and just how they recommend you get started, let's dive into one of the pages themselves, and we'll talk about the things that you'll want to do as far as being prepared for this. The first thing I always like to point out is the exam details. And one thing I find interesting between the 100 and the 120 is that they do actually have a differing in passing score and number of questions. So the passing score on the ACP-100 is a 54%, and there are up to 80 questions. Now, again, I know that 54 seems rather low, but these are challenging exams, so you are going to want to be prepared for them. Looking at the 120, you will see that there are up to 70 questions, but a passing score is a 61. So, the bar's a little bit higher, but there aren't quite as many questions that you have to answer. So, I have talked a lot about the when should you schedule your exam, and my statement for me has always been I schedule it ahead of actually doing the studying, because I need the pressure of having that due date of when I'm going to be writing in order to motivate myself to actually study for the exam. That being said, everyone's different, so I recommend you do what's right for you. I know that I was also able to devote about 2 to 3 hours per night for about a 2-week block period. Sorry, 2-week block straight, so that I could study every night leading up to writing the exam. If you have other commitments and you can only put aside, say, 2 to 3 hours a week, you might want to give yourself a bit more time. Depends on how experienced you are and how comfortable you are with the exam topics. Which is a perfect segue into the next thing that we should do, which is always take a look at the exam topic list. I'm going to try and cover both of them pretty quickly, but I don't want to spend a lot of time here because I have talked about this exhaustively, that the things you'll want to look at is the weights of each section and understanding how comfortable you are with them. So as I can point out here, the user features and configuration and global settings, 10 to 15 and 5 to 10, these make up, approximately 15 to 25% of the exam, which isn't even the same as the product and project access and permissions, which is 30 to 35. So if you are not comfortable with the product and project access and permissions, that's probably where you want to spend your time, as the majority of your marks are going to be earned through that section. So absolutely check out the exam topics. You will definitely notice that there's going to be a difference between the cloud and the data center ones. So for anyone who is writing both of them, you're going to probably want to focus on one at a time so that you aren't going to get confused and mix between the cloud and the data center certifications. But definitely read through your exam topics. After you've done that, you will see that there should be recommendations on the skill builders that you should take for the given exam. So for the ACP-100, they're recommending these ones here. For the 120, they have this subset of them here. And once you've done that, for data center people, if you have the ability to set up a test server, I highly recommend it. I don't know if that's something that everyone is going to be able to do. For those of you who are taking the cloud certification, absolutely spin up your own test instance. You can do one free for 30 days, so I would set it up a little bit before you're going to get started and walk through some of the things that you're going to be looking at. Absolutely go through the documentation. I'm pretty sure there is a link to them. Yeah, Atlassian's product documentation. There's probably one for data center as well. Yep. So you're going to want to use the product documentation and the exam topic list together and go through the features. I recommend taking the sample questions either right before you're going to write as a part of preparing, or take them right at the beginning to give yourself a baseline idea of how knowledgeable you are without doing any studying. In addition, it's one of those things where I have talked about things to be prepared for on the exam. The sample questions will give you an idea of how they're going to structure the questions, the types of things you're going to be asked. When you're writing the exam, as always, take your time. You have 3 hours to write the exam. I have written multiple certification exams at this point, and I have never gone over 2 hours, and that's even including going back and reviewing my answers. So don't worry about running out of time. You have enough time to accurately look at all the questions, think about them, and then provide the answer that's most correct. Beyond that, there's not much else that I can share because I don't want to cause any violations on the university of potentially cheating. But I think these are some guidelines that will definitely help you prepare for this exam. The last thing I will leave you with is that the administrator exam is one of the harder ones. There are a lot of topics that are covered in this, so definitely don't try and rush into this. If you've only been an administrator for a short period of time, take your time, learn the product, take the skill builders, consider taking the paid courses, and you're going to do just fine. I hope you found this video helpful and informative. Before I let you go, I want to let you know that there is a CrossCanada local ACE event that's going to be happening on Wednesday, June 29th. It's going to be a Canada Day celebration, and the theme of the event's going to be cloud migrations. There's going to be a number of speakers. I will be one of them that are going to be talking about various things about how to get to from server to cloud. So if this is something that you're interested in, I recommend going and checking any of the Canadian chapters because they're all getting together to do this event to find out what time it's happening at based on your time zone. As always, thank you for your support on this channel. Consider subscribing if you'd like to see more content like this in the future. And thank you for stopping by.